Om Sai Ishwaraya Vidmahi Satya Devaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahe तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहे ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Om Shri Sai Ram. Good evening. Yesterday we were in Assisi and we went to the place where Saint Francis actually meditated for 40 days and he experienced or he received his stigmata there, and that is where all the birds and the animals came to him. So we can say that that was the place of his awakening, and we went there and we all of us had an incredible time and we spoke about it yesterday. And then in the night, again, as a series of how things unfold, the way we live, we ended up at our own Swami's ashram in Assisi, and that led to us having an impromptu satsang. And I was really surprised with so many of you coming in for that, given that we did not give any notice, because life normally doesn't give us notice, it happens, right? And it was a profound moment, a profound time, because what transpired yesterday, and those who could not attend it, I'm sure when we get a little bit of a time, we have recorded it, we should be able to get it up on YouTube. It was, the message is not a new message. The message Baba has been sharing, actually shouting from the rooftops ever since he decided, or he declared, that he had a mission. He had come on a mission, and that his devotees were waiting for him. And he threw his school bags as a young boy, and he declared that he was the avatar who was the reincarnation of Shirdi Sai Baba, and it happens to be today the birthday of Shirdi Sai Baba. So he declared on that day that he was none other than Shirdi Sai Baba come again, and he said that I have a mission, and the mission was to tell us, all of us, that we are divine beings, and that we are gods, and that he was God, and that he was the embodiment of the formless, and that he had come to awaken us to our true reality. And that message came through very forcefully last evening, and I think, and I hope, and I pray that you received that message in your hearts, and you did not just hear the words, but you received the energy of that message in your heart. Because ultimately that's what our truth is the energy, and it's an awakening that happens in our hearts. So, and actually, I want to say that what I was experiencing at that time, so that you get to see the other side of it, the view from the inside, as they say. And what I experienced was that that message came through so forcefully yesterday. It doesn't happen like that all the times, because you've heard me talk many times. It wasn't a message of a channel, it wasn't a message of a communicator. It was clearly a message coming directly from God consciousness. It had the power of truth in it. And that is the power that we have been speaking about for quite some time now, that all this energetic experiences we receive when we come together comes from the power of truth. And that truth comes when we have finally aligned our thoughts with our words that we speak, and the words we speak with the actions that we perform. And when these thoughts, words, and action get purified to that extent, where we start to live a life of selflessness. When you don't live for yourself, and when you offer yourself up for the service of others, and this service can be of many types, but the service that God has given me to perform is the service of helping people to awaken to their truth, to receive this love in their hearts and to awaken. And that can only come when that power, which we call as God, chooses you and prepares you first for it, and makes sure that you are that instrument, you are an able instrument to be able to perform that role. So you go through a rigorous after selection, as Swami used to say, and Bible also says, many are called, only a few arrive. So actually many are selected. We are all probable shortlists for this work. We are all in the list of probables. And because each one of us has that same potential. Each one of us has the capability to step in and do this. But only a few have the yearning to do it, are ready to sacrifice in order to be able to do this, are willing to let go to be able to do this. And that is what it is asking for. Are you part of that category which we call as time pass, who are there only to pass time, and in the evenings do a bit of satsang and listen to some good talks? Or we're still in the pursuit of knowledge and attending courses and programs still? If you are one of those, then okay, it'll come to you whenever you are really yearning for this. But for those who really step into it and are willing to sacrifice, let go, give up, and who have this, and that comes from extreme sense of yearning, extreme sense of I want it. And then you are tested to make sure that you're not faint-hearted, that you don't go back, you don't run back to safety and your comfort of saying, "Oh, no, 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 I made a mistake. I'm sorry. That's not for me. It's too hard. It's too tough." So it's, but if you are able to go through that, and that's what is called the path of fire, fire is nothing but your mind. All fire is lit in your life is through the mind. It's the mind which is creating a story around it, and it's the mind which makes it difficult. It's the mind that creates challenges, and it's the mind that doesn't let you let go. For the heart, it's a very simple story. I am who I am, and I just need to step into it. So it's very simple, uncomplicated. Where I see from the perch that I am, now nicely settled in, I find it, it's a ridiculously simple job, actually. And it happened for me because I was able to, all my struggle was with my mind, and the day I understood it, understood the trick, it happened. And I think each one of us, by continuously being exposed to this understanding and this idea being repeated again and again, somewhere in our consciousness, it is registering. And I can see that on your faces, and I can see that things are beginning to change. And that, each one of you is just a moment away into stepping into your own light. And that calls for a celebration, and that calls for a sense of joy of what's coming through. So we thought we will have today's session to basically, speak about some of the things that happened, and to be able to integrate, to be able to pause and stop for a moment to reflect what's going on. Because each one of us, especially, we've been traveling now for quite some days. We spent a week in Switzerland, and now this is already, I think, 3 days. This is the 4th day today in Italy. And we've been on the move, moving from one place to another, one place to another. And we're not getting time to integrate. And yesterday what happened was so profound and beautiful, because the voice of God again came, and it was powerful, it was clear, there was no ambiguity, the message was clear. There is no more running around, and no more hiding, and no more following any other form. The time has come for us to step into our light, to recognize that the divinity resides nowhere else other than within us, and to step into it. That is where we are at this point of time. And what is required is carpe diem, to seize the moment. And if we do, and as we said, it requires trust and faith in the master. The master is no one else other than your own higher self. But for a physical reasons, since we like to have a physical comfort, because we all of us grope for a hand to hold. We hold the hand of our spouse or our partner or our good friend, because they help us, we get this moral support that there is someone holding my hand. That's why we need a guru, just to hold our hand. And the real guru is not interested to hold your hand forever. The real guru is trying to hold your hand and then tell you that the real guru, the real master, the real helper, the real friend is inside you. And then, as I said, the next level is, and then one day you experience that the teacher inside of me is none other than my own higher self. It's me only. So I am the teacher and I am the student. I'm the one who sets the goal, and I'm the one who walks on that. It's as simple as that. But that is a stage by stage evolution of our consciousness. So to cut the long story short, there is no time now to read more books and do more programs to uplift your consciousness, because there is no program that needs. All the birthing is happening right now, right here. And the time is very conducive for us to who decide to do this, and it'll happen much faster. But of course, without your consent and your will and your unflinching desire, it's not going to happen. And then we talked about our experiences. So today morning we had to go actually at Assisi to look at all the churches. This is what our plan was initially, but as we listened to the consciousness, we decided not to go anywhere, because we had actually experienced the presence of Saint Francis of Assisi in our last night's satsang. And because who is Saint Francis? Saint Francis was an embodiment of pure love, and we all experienced that pure love in our hearts last night. So he was very much in attendance and present over there, and the Divine Master was present over there, and we heard that roar of a lion last night coming through very strongly, registering in our hearts. So when all the elementals and the masters and the divine beings are present there with you, then you realize there is no more running and going to some place. And so we thought we will all sit together in a satsanga in the morning today, and integrate what we had got, and to go in and experience what we had received. And so we had a very beautiful session this morning. We sat on this lovely garden that was there in the hotel that we had stayed in, a huge property, and we were perched on the top of a mountain, and we could see the entire valley and a great view of the mountain ranges ahead of us. It was a really beautiful panoramic view, and we sat in a kind of a semicircle, and we had a very beautiful conversation. Again, it's been recorded, and you'll have to wait and be patient, because we are traveling. We don't have the bandwidth to make videos, but it will come out. And one thing came out very clearly was that everybody had experienced a shift, and everybody had moved. And actually, most of the people today were crying, because something very profound had happened, and they had experienced it, and it was a unanimous decision not to go anywhere, but to actually sit there. And it was beautiful, because I don't think any church or any holy place could have done what we were able to do this morning today. Because remember the Sacred Heart? We didn't have to go to a convent of Sacred Heart to figure out the Sacred Heart. We didn't have to go to a church of Saint Francis to experience Saint Francis. We experienced Saint Francis and Christ and Sathya Sai Baba and all the gods and goddesses in that moment. So it was very magical, actually. And I will let others say, what they experienced. But I think we all felt a shift today, this morning. And we also realized one thing that I would like to share with you, that we realized when we went to La Varna, and we all experienced a lot of heaviness there. And we all also experienced that this heaviness that we experienced was coming from the suffering that Saint Francis went through. And that suffering became a kind of a symbol of, a particular faith. And that everything which was to do with suffering was glorified, and that the path to that love was through suffering. And that collective suffering has created a pull of negativity. And that suffering needs to be released, because the path that we have been shown, our ancestors have shown us, is the path of joy. We have been given the path of Satchitananda, of knowing our truth, experiencing that truth, being aware of that truth, and that experience brings you joy. So the path that we have followed is the path of joy and not the path of suffering. The path to divinity is not through suffering, is through love. And so when we stepped in there, we actually brought in light through the path of love. Because remember, our path is the pathless path, the path of love. And we brought in this light into the dark hallways of suffering, and we brought joy over there. That's what we did. And somebody asked me today this beautiful question in the morning, that when you say you go there and you do the energy clearing, what is it physically that you do? And does it take a lot of time for you to do? Right? Because this gentleman did not see me, doing any special moves. Because there are no moves to be made. Remember the story that I shared perhaps in the last or a session before that. If there is a dark room, what happens in the dark room when you switch on light? Then the room becomes full of light. Okay? So all that we have to do when there is a place where there is heaviness or darkness is we need to bring light there. And since the light is not external to us, we don't have to carry a candle or a lamp or a bulb over there. We are the carriers of this light. So what do we need to do? We need to step into this dark place, knowing that we are the carriers of this light. We are the embodiments of this light. And so when the light beings go into dark hallways, then the dark hallways light up. Yeah? That's as simple as that. That is why in the presence of masters, we have also experienced that when a master is present, there is light around them. There is this energetic charisma that we experience. So the presence of the master is enough. There is no other thing which is specially required. Because all darkness waits for light to arrive. Darkness is also waiting for liberation. Time has come that every dark spot is going to be filled with light. Because they are calling us. And everywhere we go, we never go alone and we never go uninvited. We are not randomly visiting places. I must tell you this. And some of those who have traveled with me, even in India when we did the clearing of the 5 elements, and those who have earlier traveled with me in UK and then in Switzerland, we know that everywhere we go, the elementals and the resident saints, they are always waiting for you to arrive. You cannot go anywhere which is sacred and holy without getting an invitation from the elementals themselves and the power there. So remember that we are on a work of spreading the light, because light is what is the need of the hour, and we are being called for to do this work. And that is why everything flows. There is no resistance. And we are releasing the sadness that we have accumulated over time, and the message of sadness has been persistently given and followed, and it has brought our spirits down. And we have killed in the name of perpetuating a way of life that we feel is superior to others. And we sat in a circle today saying that we are all equal. But we didn't close it because, as Kedara beautifully said today, that we have kept space for others to join in, others to join, some to leave, so that we all feel that we are part of it. And no one is higher or lower. Because if we are all divine beings, then how can there be any separations? So the time of creating hierarchies that we created even in organizations and society, that one person is higher than the other, one is a boss and the others are followers, that time belongs only to the old world. The new world is going to be of equality. That's why we choose ourselves to be called as a family of love. In a family, there is always a head of a family. But that head of the family is accessible to all and expresses his or her love to everybody equally. That's how this new way of life is all about, and it's going to be. So, we have to deeply examine and understand what this time is about. And we have to decide when we are going to step into our light, because it's really about prioritizing what's important for us. And if we decide that this is what is the thing that we desire the most, then we need to simply let go and step into it. So today, as we ended the session and all of us came together, we all came together joining our hands in a circle, and we listened to this beautiful song from this movie Frozen called Let Go. And we were all singing loudly, "We let go." Okay? And we experienced the presence of Saint Francis Christ and Jesus Christ and Sai Baba, and we experienced the love in our heart, and we decided that in our hearts we removed the Christ from the cross, because that was bringing so much pain. We did not want to glorify. We don't have to give our lives, and we don't have to suffer to experience God. The idea of the new world is not that. The idea of the new world is that there is joy in our heart. Doing good brings us joy. Doing good for others does not mean that we have to suffer. So it's another kind of a joy. It's another way of life, which is based on being happy. And that's the inner significance of what we are doing, and where this word is heading to, where we are going as a collective consciousness. The more we of us who agree to be part of this way of life, the more we together start to resonate with this idea, the more we will start to collectively change this consciousness. The choice is in our hands. And it was beautiful that we were 12 of us. We realized that we were 12 of us. And it was like you were experiencing the energy of Christ. And we remember Christ or Jesus, I don't know what to call. I don't feel like calling him Christ any longer. So Jesus, let me say. uh, he, was with his 12 disciples, and we realized that we were so fortunate that, something brought us together to be on this beautiful trip, on this sacred journey. And we experienced the presence of pure love and pure divinity without having to go into a formal place, which is actually why we had come there. And we created and did a satsanga from the house of our own master because it was his call. And as you know, nothing can happen unless the Supreme Consciousness wants it to happen. Because there is only one will that operates at all time, and that is the divine will. And if you are connected to that divine will, and if you are that divine will, then of course everything magically manifests. And the mission impossible becomes possible, and it looks so easy. Actually, I want, for those who are traveling, to talk about this, that how ridiculously easy it is. And when you look back and you say, oh my God, did we actually do this? Did we pack in so much? I think, I heard Lindsay talk about this, and it's better that you hear from her. But she just said this. Are you sure it's just the third day? I think it's been 2 weeks already that we've been together, because so much is happening, so much shift is going on. So there's a lot going on, guys. There's a lot is moving rapidly. If I were you, as I keep always saying it, because my spiel is the same every time, don't miss this bus. Don't keep waiting for something to happen, and don't go into listening more and go accumulating more and more knowledge and things to do. Some of you are shifting, because I keep getting messages from you. Those who are experiencing this light, they are being called everywhere. They're being invited everywhere where there is darkness to help and clear. That's it. It's so simple. You become light and then everybody wants you. It's beautiful. It's magical journey. But your minds are not allowing you to shift. Your minds are stopping you. And I really feel that it's time for you to just break all these things that are binding you in your head. Actually, don't put it on people. Don't blame it on people. Don't blame it on partners. Don't blame it on, your circumstances. It is something inside you which is stopping you. And it has nothing to do with people. It's a decision that you're delaying for some reason. But I guess, as they say, heck, there is a time for everything. And you will see the shift. Okay? Thank you. I love you.